We outside, y'all.
Okay.
We really outside.
I mean, it's getting warm and all that.
Right.
Everybody wants to be in parties.
Mingling,
mingling,
on
getting
dates.
close, kissing. Okay, it's getting spicy.
Yes.
But did you guys know? Even something as like touching the bodies of someone who is sweaty, you can exchange DNA with them.
Uh-oh.
Yikes.
I know. But listen, before we even dive into that, right? Go ahead and like and subscribe if you have not already. And to our viewers who's been with us since day one, we definitely appreciate your continued support. And for those who are just tuning in, welcome back to our show.
We're always here Mondays, y'all. We're here for y'all. But back to this topic, y'all.
Yes.
Okay? Because a lot of us don't realize that. And then we're moving in different ways. We're moving through life with a lot of things affecting us, and we don't even exactly know what they are.
Okay.
And if you did know exactly what was causing these changes, would you make a more conscious effort to change them?
Yeah, and we get it, right? Everyone's been thinking they're in love, rose-colored glasses.
Absolutely.
But DNA exchange is very much real, and it's very much, something that you should bring to your forefront of your mind while we're mingling, going on these dates, while we're looking for potential partners.
And this is something that I will admittedly say, if our parents knew better in that sense, should have taught us, in a sense where it's just like, they just know, you can't just have sex with anybody, or you can't just be around anybody, but didn't really have the essence, the depthness of that knowledge to be able to share to us, because then it just sounds judgmental, like, oh, why can't I be that person? Oh, I don't like them. It's an off feeling about them.
That part.
And that was all the information that we had to go off of.
Exactly. But when we're talking about DNA exchange, y'all, we're literally talking about the very smaller detail aspects of it. We're downloading their traumas, their limited beliefs, their ancestral DNA, things that lead way back even before their great-great-grandparents' time.
Yes.
That they could be learning on to them that we're now exchanging. And some of these include demons, which we talked about briefly, in our previous videos, which we can link up. STD.
Who gave you that STD and and go back to talk about a little bit about the chakras. We have a video explaining what each of the chakras does. And during this energy exchange, there is the chakras involved as far as a give and take situation that occurs during sex or any other, intimate happenings between two people, because it don't even have to lead up to sex. It could be just kissing.
Exactly.
And you're exchanging those energies and DNAs.
Right. That's now, the saliva exchange.
Okay.
Sweat we're talking about. All of that.
Yep. And the one thing that really scared me was that you don't just download the traumas, those, negativity things about them.
What else we got downloaded?
Girl, that part really had me like, oh, snap. You also download their mental illness.
Y'all, come on now. We out here exchanging mental illnesses with each other, not getting checked.
Like, I don't know. To me, it just blew my mind in a sense where it's just like, whoa, this is what parents should have told us. You know what I mean? And those ages when we were curious about sex, curious about who we date. And then,
you know what? I even dare say, especially in the, in the Black community, people of color community in general, right?
Yep.
Where we are often undiagnosed because a lot of people don't even believe in mental illness and the impact it has.
Absolutely.
So now a bunch of us are just going out there exchanging all of that.
And we think it's just personality traits. Like, oh, that's just their personality. Listen.
Okay.
If I told you a little bit about what builds a personality, you know what I mean? Would you change your mind? In terms of like, not everything is just personality. A lot of the ways that we are, or like you said, the STDs, the demons that we got from the person, the demons that we downloaded from a person into our DNAs, and the personality traits that we downloaded into our DNAs. Now, I don't know if you ever met a couple or anything like that, where it's just like they each were stuck in their own ways, and ever since they started merging together, literally becoming one. And by the way, side note, that's also, it gives you a more scientific explanation of how two people literally become one, because your DNAs are meshing. You know what I mean? And you literally start to act the same, say the same thing.
That part.
And normally the person who is stronger, more influential as far as their energy is the one that consumes the other one or wins the other one over.
Yeah.
Right?
And more likely than others, it is going to be that man energy. That's why it's kind of like who you date as a woman. When you're thinking about a man's lifestyle, it definitely has to match your lifestyle, because 9 out of 10 times you're going to fall into his lifestyle. And there's been studies that's been done about this. This is not news, you know?
Absolutely. And we'll get into more of that when we start talking about, you know, the energy exchanges between our chakras and what each of them is supposed to help provide for the other partner. But yeah, so we're downloading all of this information from people, and that is why it's important to be selective. It's important to go through the dating process and really break down the person's personalities, mentals, and everything, because those are all the information that you're going to download into your own DNA, and you are going to start exhibiting those characteristics as well.
Yes, and then God forbids, then you procreate, and then now you pass it on to your offspring, your children. And that's what we're trying to stop, because we want to be better than the last generation. So that means constantly showing up and making better decisions. This is an area where being picky is a compliment. Because back then, you know, they try to make it look like it was
you're too picky. You're too like, who do you think you are?
No.
But no, when we realize that the risk that's really out there, the risk that's really out there, we can really take a step back and be like, whoa, this is the way in which I can control my future and where it's going, right? By foreseeing a lot of the things that's going to happen just by studying a person. Like, if we know ourselves, it'll be easier to get to know the other person and realize how they're affecting us. A lot of the ways that we're affecting each other, we think is just the situation, the moment right now. Where, you know, there's always situations that happen. There will always be good and bad moments. But if we're changing the way we handle them, something else is going on.
Yes, and I love that you said that, because life will be lifing. That's life's duty.
Life is always lifed.
Okay? And it will always. But who we are and how we show up as, that's the difference in terms of how life affects one person versus how it affects another person. So now let's go ahead and dive into these chakra functions.
Absolutely.
What each other as partners, what we receive and what we give.
So as we already know, because we probably mentioned it before in many of our videos, that women, we are the more spiritual creature. You know, we are the more emotional. We are more connected, in tune, more connected in that sense. And you know, the other side too, guys, they're more like, you know, physical, the strong aspect, the protection, the feelings of safetyness, and things like that. Now, it's possible that a woman and a man, you know, can both be unbalanced, or even if one is balanced and the other one's not balanced, it still creates an unbalanced union. You know what I mean? So we each have to make sure that we balance our energy centers, we balance ourselves, because if we're unbalanced, we're going to affect our partner in that same way, in that same manner. That's why it's important when people go like couples counseling, it's important that you both go. Because if only the one person is being affected, then you're going to go back home and, you know what I mean? And your partner who didn't go is still going to pull you back into that.
That old habit pattern, whatever that is. And it's still going to always, it's not going to create any progress in anyone's life. So starting off with the first chakra point, right? The very, you know, the root chakra. And like I said, we spoke about this in a video, which we will link up again. But the root chakra is the first, it's the red chakra, the most, you know, lower point in our spine chakra. So
located around the tailbone, you know what I mean? Because chakras.
Down, that's what you be sitting on, okay? So for the root chakra in a relationship, how does that look like? Well, a man for the root chakra, right? He gives stamina. Like we're saying, he gives physical strength. That's where that man comes from when you're exchanging that sexual energy. And as a woman, then we're receiving that. Now, that's like the balance aspect of it we're talking about, right? So in an imbalanced portion, what is that looking like for some of y'all? Right.
So, you know, in a balanced state, you know, if the man is balanced, then that stamina and the physical strength that he is exchanging to the woman should receive it in a sense where you feel stronger. You know, you feel like you're more capable of accomplishing your goals, empowered to do the things that you want to do in life. You know, and an unbalanced energy transfer, you'll see that it just doesn't happen. You both end up feeling powerless.
Okay, insecure.
Insecure, you know, in a sense where it's just like
that lack of will
mm-hmm.
to even accomplish certain things.
Absolutely. And that's how the energy transfer happens within the root chakra, okay? Now, we have 6 more, so we're going to move to the next one.
Yeah.
And that one is is it sacral or sacral? I always say it wrong.
Yeah, it's sacral chakra.
Sacral.
Yeah,
sacral
but
chakra.
Sacral, hey, somewhere out there.
Someone says.
Tomato.
Okay. So the sacral chakra, all right, the woman is the one who gives the sexual energy, connection, and intimacy. So a balanced woman producing, you know, like exchanging this to the man, because the man is receiving in that sense, is going to give a sense of more like deeper connection. Yes. You know what I mean? Like the intimacy is there, and when you feel like you're speaking to the person, they, you know what I mean? They take it in and they understand you on a deeper level, a whole nother level. Now, someone like if she is unbalanced, he's unbalanced, that energy transfer looks a little different and balanced altogether, where you see that the man doesn't really feel the connection, you know what I mean?
And there is no safe spot or safe zone for him, a safe space for him to share his emotions.
Absolutely.
Especially in this world where you know, men are deemed as, oh, we can't cry, we hold our feelings in, we can't talk about feelings, and this and that. Well, and then that's the imbalance, because we know how patriarchy that works, and it's always been imbalanced for men because we weren't pushing that. Well, a balanced woman will give that man that safe space.
Absolutely.
To feel, to cry, to be, you know, to express his worries and doubt, because it is that union where we both kind of have to be a teamwork in that sense.
And exactly. And both will receive that sense of like, you know, higher connection, intimacy, and they're able to express themselves. Because I look at it as like a puzzle, you know what I mean? The woman's probably expressing. He may or may not be expressing, but the point is, it never meets. It's always just like all over the place. You know, that is signifying, you know, a blocked or imbalanced chakra in that sense, with as far as the energy transfers.
Yeah, and then the man may even be emotionally unavailable. And that's what that looks like when you're dating partners who's like, well, he doesn't open up and he can't express himself and this and that. That is that imbalance part of it.
Exactly.
Emotional unavailability.
And I love that you say that, because another form of that would also be not being able to express or look the way you feel on the outward.
Yes, you're not in tune then.
So there's a disconnection there. So it's just like, you know, like this person looks mean.
Yeah, right.
But inside, they're really a sweetheart.
Okay.
There's a disconnect there.
All right, you're like, oh, I'm ecstatic, and your face is like this.
Are we? Because I can't tell.
I can't tell, child.
I cannot tell. So let's really be aware of the ways that this is affecting us, y'all. You know, the imbalanced energy transfers, you know, during intercourse or you know, kissing or whatever intimate actions that you guys do.
Exactly. And now that leads us to the solar plexus chakra, which is, as we know, the orange chakra in our body, right? Like kind of like right above or near your belly button.
Yeah.
And so in a sexual exchange, that what looks like is a man gives. So that a man gives protection, safety, stability. And that also includes, you know, emotional connection and stability and safety. And for a woman, we receive that. And going off of what we were saying yesterday, just before, that is like how it falls to a man's lifestyle, because the man will lead and set that tone.
Yeah.
So as a man, your duty is to also create that safe space for the woman, because
provide the protection and the stability.
Because for a balance, a woman will then be able to give you her ranges of emotional expression, right? And, you know, that goes off to when they're like, oh, she's just too much.
Right.
I can't handle her.
I was going to say, because then that's what helps a woman tone down from being too aggressive. Because, you know, the aggression, that's a man's trait, in the sense where it's like a masculine trait. Not to say that only men can be. But if the woman feels like they're the one who they're always just aggressive, and they're not, it's because of that feeling of non-safety that you're getting through the sex exchange, through the energy exchanges and the DNA exchanges, okay? So even though the man is supposed to make you feel safe and protected to be yourself, you don't.
Exactly.
You hermit in. You hold in. You don't really like feel like, oh no, I need to wear this face in order to be strong.
Okay, and
I need to be this way. And it's just like, you don't even understand why you're this way. Sometimes you can't even put a word to it, or explanation to it.
Yes.
But that's just how it looks.
Okay, and that looks like walking on eggshell at your own home. Your own, anytime you're hanging out with that person, you're walking on eggshell. Well, that's what that's affecting, that solar plexus, where you feel imbalanced.
And even if it doesn't feel like you're walking on eggshells, neither person is able to express how they really feel.
Yes.
Okay? And then on the outwardly, it doesn't match what they feel inside. That's what that looks like. And honestly, it looks the same as, to me, it looks the same as walking on eggshells. But yeah, because that's just what it looks like from the outside looking in.
Yeah, it's like you're taking time bomb. You have to watch and think I can do certain things. That's because you're not safe. You're not feeling safe. Which is a man's duty to provide that safety, and for a woman to receive that, and then make that into a home
and blossom. In a sense where it's like, yeah, I get to be myself. I can be bubbly.
I'm
I
not
can be
too
joyous.
much. I'm just this, and he just loves me for who I am. That's what that looks like.
So we're gonna move to the next one here, which is my favorite. Is the heart chakra, right? So during this energy exchange, the woman is the giver and the man receives. So the woman, a balanced woman, will give the feeling of love, joy, spontaneity, emotional support. You know what I mean? So going back to the earlier stages of the chakras, where we say like, the woman is the one that provides the safe space for the man to feel like they can open up emotionally, right? Yes. That is the woman who transfers that energy into the man. So if it's balanced, there's no blockage, it'll successfully go through in a sense where you both are experiencing that love, joy, support, spontaneity. Like, there's a world full of...
Your chakra is both open, and you guys are... That's where it's
openly
safe.
Expressive.
Yes, and that's where it's safe to have the rose-colored glasses, because then we are in a magical land. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh my gosh.
You both are experiencing a world where it's just like your feels are up. Yeah. I love that. So, and if that, if the woman's imbalanced in that sense and aren't able to express that, right, through to the man during this exchange, then you'll experience the opposite. Particularly the man will experience the opposite, where they're always like not as joyous, you know what I mean? And people are more hardened versus the opening of the love, the heart, the love that the heart provides. You're more hardened. And it's more so like you're the emotional support doesn't feel like it's there.
Yeah, like for a man, then that's where you would be like, well, I just don't express love. Oh, I'm just not compassionate. Oh, I just don't like to hold hands. I just don't like to kiss.
Right.
And that's all like part that's still with the heart chakra, where you're just like, I just don't like it. But then it's like, it's that relationship where the woman doesn't make you feel safe to do it in that sense.
Yes.
Because then you guys break up, you move on. Next thing you know, you're all over the other woman, and you're hugging and kissing,
and the woman, and she has you acting in a way you've never acted before. That's what it looks like when a balanced person is transferring that energy onto you.
Okay, got you acting out of character.
Okay. A little more lovey, a little more like, oh my gosh, I want to show her to the world. Oh my God, I want to do all of this. So, that's what that looks like when there's a balanced energy exchange through the heart chakra.
Okay, which leads us to the throat chakra. And so what a man gives for that is respect, status, listening skills, understanding. And for a woman, we receive that. And so in a balanced relationship, right, when you're in a great relationship with somebody, you feel heard. That's what that looks like. It's like, wow, he gets me. Like nobody else gets me.
Yes.
Okay? Like that could look like finishing each other's sentences.
Right. Mentally
communicating. Because it's kind of like, oh, we're just on that same wavelength.
On that same wavelength, yes.
Yeah.
And it will make her feel, like she can stand in front of anybody. Okay. You know what I mean? And speak her truth in that sense. Where she doesn't have to feel hushed or hold anything in, because all of these chakras, they play a role into each other. It's like, the energy wave is like this as you do the exchange through the chakras.
Of the DNA.
Absolutely, because that's how these chakras affect, and I love you mentioned that. That's how these chakras affect, our DNAs and who we are as a person, personality-wise, right? Okay. The things that we think can't be altered, which...
Yes. And it's like going on in that sense too, when a woman feels respected, that's when we do also will feel like we're now has we're people. Because we know back in the patriarchal days, right? We were just property. Well, in an unbalanced version of that, will feel us being disrespected. Objectified. You know, you're not listening to me. I don't feel heard. You know, I'm hushed in the corner. And it's like, this is not a mutually benefiting relationship where it's kind of like, I'm your partner then, you know, because we both have that equal status.
Absolutely.
But when the, you know, third chakra is imbalanced in that, I don't feel like that. Now it's kind of like, oh, well, you are a one-man show, and I guess I'm just back here for when you gotta do whatever.
Exactly. It makes a woman feel like, you know, some of them don't even want to be seen or want to shy away from attention. Like, no, don't look at me, don't look at me. Because you didn't receive that sense of safetyness from the man to feel listened to, heard, and appreciated. You know what I mean? So that's how that affects the woman. And we must keep that in mind. We think that, you know, that's just us, you know, turning into a little hermit, turning into like a little thing like, no, I became that person who just don't really, and then that's not who you always were.
Exactly. And
that is part,
that
is part of the energy exchange that's happening through sex, through intimacy and all that.
Because we've had friends in the past where it's kind of like they go date somebody a few months, a year in.
It's like, where they at?
Change. You know what I mean?
Where they at? You don't even see.
She was out spending time with us and this and that. Next thing you know, we don't even see the girl no more. She's gone. And it's kind of like, oh, I'm not like that. I'm inside like, since when? You know what I mean? That is just a completely shift in personality. And that's why we always say, you have to have your own thing going on. You have to be solid in who you are. Because if not, you could be very much roped up in his personality, his world, and then now you're just kind of like floating around with no ground for you personally to stand on.
Absolutely. And we're gonna move to the next one here, and that is the third eye chakra, guys, located right here in the center of the brow. So in this energy exchange, the woman gives and the man receives. Okay, so the woman gives the vision, ideas, intuition, belief, future plans. That's why, like, when you see, like, you know, a balanced woman transferring that energy into a man, and when you guys get together, the man now has all of these plans. You know, like, they have plans and visions for the future. Like, oh, let's do this. Let's start a business. Let's, you know what I mean? With you, I feel like I can accomplish anything.
And you conquer the world, so I can give you everything that you need. I want to give you the world type of vibe.
Yes. That is the positive energy exchange through the third eye, with the woman giving that man that sense of feeling like, okay, let's plan some things, like let's accomplish some things. And that's just interesting. You know what I mean? How these energy exchanges happen. And it makes sense where normally the man awakens like that during a relationship, where before it might have seemed like their drive was kind of dead. Like, I'm good where I'm at. I don't really care to. But, you know, they see the woman, and then the energy transfers that's happening, you know, downloading each other's DNAs. Because I really want you guys to ingrain this in your mind. Because this is something that's happening from within. So it feels like it's us, but it's not. Okay? So downloading each other's DNAs, and then he's seeing that, oh, wow, you know what? Let's have this. You know, let's start having children. Let's go get the house. You know.
Let's start traveling. Let's start seeing what's out there. Let's do this. I want to provide for you and the kids. I want the best of the best. Okay, you're welcome.
No, for real though. Because a lot of men take the clout for that. You know, especially when they go do this business exchange and then they're successful at it, which is why I do believe in the whole, like, woman getting half when a divorce happens, because it's the woman that transfers, even though she's home taking care of the home, which is very important too, because the man can go to work if the woman can keep you know, a harmonious home. A fruitful home, and which is stable to the point where the man can go out and know that, all right, home is good. Let me go out there and fulfill those dreams. Let me go out there and work so that I can provide for the family.
And then be able to come back home to that peace that she then created. You know, so exactly. Think about it like that. And, you know, that leads us to our crown chakra, the very up higher, kind of like purplish color. And at this point is a very interesting point, because this one, the most unique one out of all.
Absolutely.
We both give in that sense, you know? And so a man, it gives mental strength, you know? And for a woman, we give spiritual guidance.
Yes.
And that is wonderful to hear, because even back in the day, right, like you said, we were very much spiritual beings as a woman. we really give that guidance to to men out there.
We're able to see some insight, that the men, right? We're able to see insights that the man may not immediately is able to obtain at the time. And that's why it's no wonder why we hear this saying that, behind the great man is even a greater woman. Because when he goes back home, pillow talking and talking about his plans and ideas to the woman, she's going to see something that he didn't foresee. Like, you know what? I don't think that's a good idea. Or you should go for this as far as the guidance. So then when the man receives the guidance, like confirmation from the woman, then with the strength that they provide, they pursue on.
Okay. And I love that. And we thank you guys out there for, the ones balanced who are giving us mental strength.
Yes.
Because it is something then we then hone in and use to make sure, like we're saying, the home is upkept. And where we have that mental strength and clarity to go ahead and pursue our goals and dreams. And
absolutely.
Yeah, and to be our better versions out there,
yes, too. You allow each other to flourish in a way where it's very harmonious.
Yes.
And it provides, a balanced state for, let's say if you have children, your pets, whoever may be staying home with you. It just creates a more balanced state. And everybody feels like we're in La La Land, no matter what the environment may look like.
Yes. And that's what a stable partnership look like, And like I've said, this is always something to keep in mind because we do want to be better than the next generation.
Yes.
And the kids or the children are the future because they're the one out there then creating that better version of the world that we want. So why not start with the very, very first step, which is us choosing our partners responsibly.
Responsibly, y'all. And, we're saying this to help you out for your own goods.
Yeah.
And we get it. A lot of you may already be in your situations and you're not trying to leave or, move. That's okay because like I said, things like personalities are things that can change.
Yes.
If you both are making the positive changes in your lives, going to counseling in areas where you need to see that. Going back towards the root cause of your issues of why you acting different, why you moving different. You'll really see and understand things on a different level. And that's how you can both start to move up,
that part
in a positive light. Because yes, the energy exchanges is happening regardless, whether you notice it or not. It's happening regardless.
Okay.
So you might if you know better in terms of how it's affecting us, then that's also one way you can help you gain control of that too.
Yeah, and so we can do better because at the end of the day, we all want what we want for you is to show up as the best version of yourself.
Of yourself.
Yeah, so then your world start reflecting who you are, truly are.
Yes.
So what do you guys think about this? This
is
very, I think this is honestly life-changing. It takes a look at it from a different point of view where it brings science, where it brings spirituality right in the center of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I absolutely love about this journey, where we started taking this journey into spirituality and science. We're able to find explanations for things that, regular math, English, science class, basic classes did not teach us in terms of where we need this information. And we leave school just at a loss, just knowing, okay, we passed the class, but what did we learn? How do we apply this in real life, in real time?
Yes.
And this is how we apply it. And if you build your spirituality, you'll realize that there's more to it than the negative connotations that society has put on it. I think the negative connotations is so that we don't explore it.
Yes.
So that we can keep box. Right. Have this stigma against it where it's just like, oh no, those people usually act like this or they're usually that one of those guys. Oh, so you think like that. So it shuts down your mind from being able to perceive this information and then use it to better your lives.
Okay. So to all the girls out there, the ladies who've been told they're picky, go ahead and be picky, okay?
Yes.
We're going to be picky and pick the right one.
Okay? You knew it all along. And, it's something you feel but couldn't put an explanation to it. Well, now you have the explanations of why this is very, very important. Who you choose, who you interact with, who you mingle with. I mean, you wonder why some people in the higher status, they keep a tight circle.
Yes.
They know those people, they know their ways. And the minute they start to act different, we usually know why. A new person entered their lives, a new job, or something changed.
Yes.
And we're able to pinpoint through.
Yeah.
And especially, I look at a lot of these CSI movies where, like, you know, a murder happened, for example.
Yeah.
A person acted in a way where it's unusual. Some of the questions that they're being asked is, have you noticed anything different with her or him?
Yes.
Do you know of anybody, like a boyfriend or somebody new who entered their lives? Like, do you have any explanation as for, because like things don't just happen. These are effects, of a cause.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So if you are able to go back to these times and really look at that,
yeah, I'm telling you,
we're dropping gold.
You'll be making some groundbreaking change in your life for real.
We're dropping gold. I don't think you guys understand. I mean, those who get it, you get it, and you already know.
Exactly.
Okay? But those of us who are sleeping as far as this information, that's why we do these videos every Monday. Because the information that we find, we're studying it. And we're reading on it, and we're living it, and we're experimenting it.
Yes.
And that's how we can come to you with, like, you know, firm beliefs of like, no, this is helping, this is not.
Okay? And the lifestyle that we're living, it truly works and has been working wonders because we're getting confirmation about it left and right.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so let us know in the comments what you guys think, okay? The DNA exchange, was it spooky? Was it scary? Was it enlightening? I mean, for us, it was a little bit of mixture of all of that.
Right? All of that. I was just like, no. Wait. Now, I mean, it's one thing for us to realize, to show that we're not stuck in these state of minds.
Yeah.
Yes, we download people's DNAs that we interact with, but there are ways to rejuvenate ourselves, to literally start to find our sense of self again. Because the cell is always, because it is doing that through a thing called self-receptors. Each cells in your body have self-receptors, and it's funny because the name of the cell, the name of this, you know, component tells you exactly what it does. The self-receptors is always looking for components of itself to put it into the cell, and then, you know, dispersing out anything that doesn't belong to the cell.
Okay, all the foreigns, all the
foreign downloads, all of that. The cell is always working to that point for you.
Yes.
Now it's
bring you right back to you.
You know what I'm saying? But it's working against your body when you don't know this information, and then you constantly, you know what I mean, like interact with people who don't resonate with your beliefs, who doesn't resonate with, like, all of these little things that we didn't think mattered actually matters, because that's how it affects ourselves. That's how it affects our health.
Yes, and how we perceive the world, who we are.
Yes.
So,
and the thing also to bring it to mind, that to show that this is not something that you're stuck with. I think every 7 years the cells rejuvenate.
Exactly.
You literally become like a new person.
Yes, your whole new body, y'all.
Absolutely.
From your toes to your freaking root of your hair is
completely different.
And then on top of that, a quick fact for you is, like, every 3 months your skin cells rejuvenate. So that's how you're able to get rid of old scars, like physically. So if we think about that, think about your emotions, your mental, your mental well-being.
Absolutely.
If your body is working so hard for you, you can work as hard for your body as well.
Absolutely. Work in unison instead of against each other, you know? The soul needs the body and the body needs the soul. So we might as well work for each other. But, if you've learned anything new, guys, let us know. I mean, because I know we were dropping mad tea in this video, for real. And if this is something that, you've already known, kudos. Because we know there's people that be knowing out there, for real.
And pass it on. Tell a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend.
Just come on, share the love. And if you have not done so, guys, hit subscribe, like our videos, show us some support as far as how this was helpful. And we appreciate your support.
All right, we'll see y'all next week, y'all, okay?
Bye.